Center for Ecological Sciences, Indian Institute of Science. At present, Dr. Harish Bhat works as a researcher at the Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore. His area of emphasis is in the field of habitat ecology and wildlife biology. Among other things, Dr. Bhat has coordinated several conservation projects in the state of Karnataka. He has held many high positions and been a team leader when it comes to conservation projects, preservation of wetlands, and assessment of national and local preservation of ecosystems. He has held many honorary positions and published quite a few manuals and technical reports. He has also earned numerous awards, among them the Pustak Sogasu Award, that is the Best Book of the Year 2006, and the Academic Award for Science Literature 2006. Dr. Harish Bhat, I now invite you to please come up. Okay.
Entirely different world which deals with evolution and adaptation right from the formation of earth how many million years ago. I'll ask you later. It will be interactive all the while. Right answer, no prize. Wrong answer, I'll correct it. Be brave to answer it. I want to see how many of you can answer it. This is one difficult session for me because I am standing between lunch. How many of you are really hungry? Don't worry, even I am hungry. But anyway, sometimes Indian stretchable time. It has to be stretched, and I'll try to cover it by 1:30. Let me see. Well, what is evolution? Suddenly when you think of evolution, what comes into your brain? Variation in? Yeah, why don't you answer? What is evolution? Sit down and answer, it's okay. Okay. Nobody got one common visuality when I say evolution. Oh my God. All of you are wrong. I'll prove it wrong later on. Today you will learn new concept. It is not from monkey to man. I'll give you some new concept. Each of the slide, watch carefully, each of the slide is to be a PhD if at all you are interested. You know what is the objective of Inspire program? You are already inspired. Why should we inspire you? Department of Science and Technology was seeing most of the researchers or scientists go abroad and settle and become NRI and get patent, etc. They work in America and Europe. Hardly any fragmentary. It's just 10% of Indian population are scientists. So we are facing crisis. Scientists have become endangered. So you don't allow it to be extinct. We want more. So that's why that is the objective of making you come to basic science. Okay, let's see. Don't worry, Earth will not rotate so fast. It is just to show something you are able to see here. Earth is revolving. Now, what do you see? Bernard Shaw. Yeah? No. Something very common. It's a common sense. Something you see visually. What do you see? Yeah, exactly. How much percent of water? Huh? Anyone? How many percent? 70? Anybody 80? Don't worry, after some glacier melts, it will be 80. Whatever you say is right answer for the time being. So, if you see carefully, we have more water and less land. How did this water come? You should ask how, why, where, which. Science is only with questions. Okay, there are so many theories. Let us try to solve one of them. That is, what is this? Which is our galaxy? Oh, everybody is knowledgeable. And they say there are something like 200,000 or 500,000 galaxies in the universe. And we know only 100,000 because we don't have any experts coming forward, you youngsters, to identify. Now show me where is Earth. No, actually you can't see the Earth at all. That is the vastness of galaxy. And we human being 700 crore in the world, 700 crore population in the world, we say we are the superiors and conquerors. Try to show me Earth. No. Try to show me Trivandrum, Kollam. No. And so many people in this audience. So that's how entire universe, if you see, it's very interesting phenomenon. If you think it really, and don't ever believe whatever is already done. It might be false. You prove it false. That's a great research. Big Bang. How much of you believe? How many of you believe Big Bang theory? Okay. Any doubts? Who were there at the Big Bang theory, boss? So one theory says universe goes on expanding. After some time, imagine one small balloon. When it expands more, it has to blast. And this is not cracker, don't worry. So this is how it would have formed. And once there is an explosion, you know, each particle gets ruptured and it goes far. And they have a revolve, they start revolving. You just throw one handful of marble. They go and they start revolving. Whether they have axis or not, that's secondary. And, you know, temperature was too high. So the first one to get cooled was, which one? Fastest cooling object. Later on we called it as planet, our Earth. All these happened something like 13.7 billion years ago. Now you don't ask me how can you say authentically 13.7 billion years ago. You have to work on it. They started, unfortunately it failed, you know, the experiment what they started on Big Bang theory. So still you have a lot of opportunity if you want to work and prove. Don't believe whatever is done, it might be wrong also. So once it started cooling, can you imagine how the Earth was? Any America, Africa, India? This is how it was. You see all those red color, what is that? Yeah, molten whatever, rock, etc. Once this was formed, the first material, the first compound to form on Earth was, anyone? No, one, whatever in the periodic table you can look and say. Yes, second one? Helium, third one? That's it. Hydrogen, helium, you are right. So it goes on. And then, see, if there is hydrogen and helium, definitely you can somehow get to know that there could be life. We failed to prove in Moon, we failed to prove on Mars, but still we believe Earth is the only place where life dwell, not human, I don't say human. So if at all other planets are proved, they'll be polluted, don't worry. So on this particular land mass, there were something like 16 lakh species that existed. Very interesting. I'll just show each slide. When did they come? How do they compete? How do they survive? But the last slide will be man, don't worry. I have to show human beings also. So this is how the entire evolution takes place. You see each one of them. The first single cell, prokaryotes we call, they came on this earth 3.8 billion years ago. So like that it goes on, I don't want to rattle them. So this is how the evolution theory can be explained graphically. See at the first initial circle, which color? Man, that means? Lava or molten, whatever. Then you see there is water. Then at the end you see land mass coming up. Then at the last you see some creature there. Can you identify? Yeah, human being. And human being has come how many years ago? That I'll tell you at the last. Charles Darwin, who is he? Father of evolution, everybody believe it. Okay. So he had 3 theories, of which one, can you prove it? Can you just say what was one of the theory? Which was useless also. Natural selection is fine, even now it is accepted. Survival of the fittest is also fine. He and Lamarck almost similar theories they had. The acquired character can be passed to next generation. That means whatever you see your friend and learn, that can be passed to your children. Which was totally deferred in neo-Darwinism theory by Alfred Russel Wallace. Please remember him. He is the one who the theory of evolution was co-founded by Alfred Wallace and Darwin. None of the book will give you. Because Darwin was a little bit powerful, he got the name. Alfred Wallace was student, so he could not get. But still, both of them, he said, whatever you acquire cannot be transferred to next generation, only the genetically inherited character. I think you would have heard, your relatives telling, she sings very well because her grandfather was a great singer. Yeah, genetics. Only they might not be able to say that chromosome, genes, etc., but relatively they can say. Or this person looks exactly similar to his grandfather. So it's genetically inherited. I'll ask how many genes at the end. Just see this. What is this? Okay, whale. So this blue whale, 150,000 years ago, 150 million years ago, it was on this earth like any other cattle or bison on this earth, grazing and surviving. Then survival of the fittest. When they had competition, they then adapted and went into the ocean. Even today, whales graze more seagrass. Even today, whales feed their young ones with milk. And even today, whales' young ones are called calf. Calf is only cattle's young one, right? And to prove this, one fossil which was found between Gujarat and Pakistan, so this proved it. In the same similar kind of audience, I had addressed the same issue in 1998. I did not show proper evolution story, I just showed whale. I asked the audience, which is the largest mammal on earth? So there are so many hands raised. And one of the small boy, he probably would have come with his sister or brother. He was not seen, so he stood on the chair and raised the hand. I thought I'll ask him. He said, African elephant. Everybody laughed, but I didn't laugh. I asked him, why not this blue whale? See, this is what you should have, the quality. He came all the way to the dais, saw left to right and right to left, and asked me another question. Sir, in which angle does it look like an animal to you? For me, it looks like a fish. Then I had to explain him entirely how it was a mammal once upon a time, how it evolved, and etc. To prove this, there is a fossil, 150 million years ago. After explaining this, I saw the student's face. He smiled and said, theory is interesting but hard to believe. You were not there, I was not there, 150 million years ago. Do you have the guts to ask? That too, he would have been 6th standard or 7th, I don't know. This was in 98. And last year, I get a phone call. Then I had to provide him all materials about evolution, etc. He was happy. We had a lot of discussion later. Last year, I get a call from Harvard University. From that side, the voice says, sir, can you recognize me? I said, no. He says, I am the same boy who asked you evolution of whales. Now I am pursuing my PhD in evolution of whales to work further. That was so, I was so happy. Then he added one word. If at all you would have discouraged me by saying, you useless fellow don't even know that answer, I wouldn't have seen biology in my life, I would have become an engineer. And I would have lost a wildlife biologist. So that's a great. So when you will get inspired, we do not know. And when you would go to that level, we do not know. He's big evolutionary biologist now. So these huge mammals, they are always trying to come on the surface because they have to breathe. They have lungs. They don't have gills. These are the character which actually uh, qualify them. Do you remember something when you see this slide? Uh, Thanks to Gilbert. So he has made a very nice movie, and this actually, there are some mistakes. Anyway, I don't care the mistakes, but he had conveyed Jurassic Park. Okay, now another question. How did they become extinct? Yeah, a lot of theory is fine, but still something which is satisfying. Is it so easy to wipe out from the entire world by asteroids? Asteroids are very significant to some areas. Okay, now just listen. It had been on the earth, of which majority of them were vegetarians. That means they were grazing on plants. Now I'll give you one clue. When dinosaurs existed, there were no flowering plants at all. There were only gymnosperm. You imagine Christmas tree and all, something like that. Conifers. So now you explain, how did they become extinct?
Large reproduction was, not match the amount of.
Actually, there is another theory. It says that there was a huge, the temperatures got so high. Now, the reason is mammals survived the event, the KT event, because they were small and they could hide under rocks and stuff. But dinosaurs being extremely large animals, and sea animals survived, sharks and turtles survived.
You are partially right. I'll tell you how. Again, climatic change. Temperature rose. When temperature was rising, all the flowering plants appeared on the earth, taking over the gymnosperm species. So these are accustomed to eat those gymnosperm, but they are not familiar with other fruiting plants. So many of them could not survive due to scarcity of food, and some of the carnivores had a fight, and in between they killed each other, and as one theory says, asteroids also fell on it. But totally to believe the climatic change was the important factor. So now we say global warming. Once upon a time, it's like a cycle, sometimes it will be high and sometimes it will be low. Do you remember this fellow? Mammoth. Again, if you remember one movie called Ice Age, probably you will remember. Now why did they become extinct?
They all went extinct too at the same time. Mammals, some say it is because humans went and killed them, and some say there was.
Not really. Okay, now I will give you one clue. Again, there was ice age after the temperature rise. Ice age, it will be too temperate, minus 20, minus 40 degree. And these, you see the mammoth properly, they are with blankets of hairs on their body. Now imagine yourself, you are in Trivandrum, suddenly the temperature is something like 2 degree, 3 degree, you are wearing nice sweaters. Tomorrow it is 40 degree. You will throw your sweater and enjoy. What will they do? They could not survive the increase in temperature, so they were completely extinct. One. Second, of course, there was some predators which could kill, but not in that number which they could have killed. There are heavy number of them actually. But due to that ice age, again changing to hotter temperature, so they were lost again. See, this is one fossil we have in Los Angeles, which is even today, it's not an artificial one, the natural one, which the fossil they redesigned, and it is 20 feet tall. Huge. You can't imagine such a huge elephant-like object. So they were surviving. Now, one more question. Why their tusks are cross? If you see properly, they are not straight. They are cross. Nowadays, the elephants, what you see in the modern world, the tusks are straight, whereas this is horizontal. Why? See, they depend on herbivore, that is, they are herbivores, they depend on plant material, etc. And one clue is there were no huge trees at that time. These were, yeah? Sorry? No, they were using this for scooping. scooping the mountain things, and you have so many herbs below, some of the pteridophytes, etc. They are surviving. Second thing, see, that time no huge trees, so even if they go horizontal, no problem. They won't crash any tree as such. So their entire structure was designed to, if you see here, hardly any trees, so they were surviving. So all these changes, remember one thing, any climate change, first thing happens is the composition will change. Once the composition change, the dependent species will be either perishing or passing. If no predator, they will be more happy. This you would have seen, I don't want to, mangroves, yes. I have to show this slide. In Bangalore once I asked, because Bangaloreites didn't see mangrove at all in their life. I asked, what are mangroves without picture? One of the boys said, a grove with full of mango trees. They are very much significant to the world. See, these are some specialized. Now I'll tell you how they started adapting some of the species. These mangroves, very interesting, they only stick on to saline condition, brackish water, and here you can see a lot of them. And the roots are very interesting, challenge to physics. They grow against gravitational force. And they have small holes in the roots through which they breathe, because it can't breathe otherwise, it is water-clogged area. And see the plant properly, it has a fruit. Even before it falls down, it matures and there will be shoot and root system, it just directly throws it and it can survive. So it knows how to survive in this very pressurized atmosphere, and they can survive. Wherever mangroves are there, this theory is very much worked. Remember, no tsunami can attack mainland at all, because the root can go up to 6 meters down and they are very sturdy. They can face the waves and cut the speed and save the mainland. You want to see this? Go to Andamans and see once. Those are the places still saved. Unfortunately, all those Tamil Nadu area where they cleared the mangroves, including Japan last year, or there is a place they cleared mangrove and they had actually started an airport. Okay, here are some interesting plants again. Any plant which can eat human being, I wish there was one which can balance. Okay, see, this is one significant plant. You can work a lot on this, hardly anybody work. It's a carnivory plant. It only eats at the most some insect. Don't worry, it doesn't kill any animal. So this is very adaptive. See, you see green color? So it is photosynthetic. And why the sticking glands on it? What happens is insects, they are little dumb. Anything shining, glistening, they think it is sugar or something, they go there. Once they get stuck, it has digestive enzyme which immediately capture the insect and digest and survive. It's come only in those areas where it is poor with nutrition. Tomorrow you can go and see wherever the insectivorous plants are there, they will be usually on hillock, where the nutrition is very poor, protein, etc. And this is very opportunistic. It has green color. So I got an idea. We got the plant back to lab. No, I'll tell you what we did. We gave sufficient nutrition. Because of nutrition, it does all this drama. So we provided sufficient nutrition. After 3 weeks, there was a change. What was that? What happened? If it died, then my entire purpose would have been defeated. Very interesting. When you provide all these rich manure and rich composition, they immediately lost all the sticking hairs and they became photosynthetic and they grew big. That proves when there is dearth of opportunity, they try to adjust. So this is very interesting. This you would have seen. If you go to Assam, in Garo hills, that again hills. On the hills these are there. And very interesting is this has a trap door if you see. So it has a sweet scent which actually attracts the insect. Once they go inside, all the hairs are facing down, they'll push the insect down. And there are digestive juice inside that will digest it and that's it. Again we did an experiment. We brought the Nepanthes all the way from Assam to Bangalore and cultured it. See, now it is getting sufficient nutrients. What would have happened? Huh? Older ones, definitely it had. The younger leaves forgot that adaptation and it was normal leaf. See, that's what it says. To survive, what is required? They don't waste any energy. Only if it is required, they do. Otherwise, they know how to adapt. This is Dionia in America. Again, if you see carefully, there are some insects in between. This is an aquatic plant. See, even in water, it doesn't get sufficient nutrition. So these also become insectivorous. Have you seen this adaptation? I don't know why they call this as lady slipper. Anyway, it is slipper shape. But anyway, Apunsha, it's a cactus plant. See carefully, where are the leaves? You'll get in CET these all answers. Huh? All the leaves, see, this is a desert adapting plant. What it does is it has to conserve water. All the stems become enlarged and it will store, not water, please don't write water, mucilage. Water can evaporate, mucilage cannot. And mucilage is sticky. And all the leaves will drop. I told you, they are energy concerned species. They drop the leaves and modify it into thorns. Now, why the thorns on them?
There are two reasons. First of all, no loss of water, and then since there is no nutrition in the desert, plants will, animals will try to eat them.
Yeah, they protect themselves by those thorns. Animals will not come closer. That's why they are even now surviving. Otherwise, they would have been extinct like dinosaur, So that is the survival technique they will always have. Now, from here, I'll show one by one quickly. How many of you eat fish? Oh, wrong question to ask. Anyway, remember, you don't have right to eat unless you know when it had come on the earth. They are super seniors. Whatever I show, they are all super seniors who have come on earth. The fish what you eat has come something like 395 million years ago. See the first one to arrive? It doesn't have a lower jaw. What is the reason? 500 million years ago. See, 500 million years ago, there were no proper food for it, only the algal material, which it has to browse, almost browse. So the lower jaw is not required. When the species evolved, when there were other competent prey, so they evolved the jaw, lower jaw, which they can chew. So many of the carnivore fishes came into existence. Remember the year? Because all are continuous now. Okay, another question. Whether male bites or female bites? Why? No, why? I always used to say males are vegetarians, females are non-vegetarians in mosquitoes. Why does female bite and suck blood? See, whenever they are breeding, they require more energy. That time they come to you and suck the blood. So next time when it bites, you just watch. Because either you have to conserve them or kill them. If I was there, I would have killed. If you kill one, then 100 mosquitoes are safe. So these actually they have found out one new theory that they are found more in those areas which is rich with carbon dioxide. Second, our body emits a kind of chemical which attracts them towards it and they can bite you more. And don't ask me why it doesn't bite to my friend whereas it bite to me, whether I am smelling so bad. It's not smell, it is some chemical which is very concerned. People are working on it. And these evolved 100 million years ago. Think this for a while. 100 million years ago, mosquito has come on this earth. No change. Same way, even today, it exists with you. Can you find out these three? All are sisters. They co-evolved. One is ant, one is wasp, and the other is honeybee. Now, why do I fit ant to this? Both are having wings. Ant doesn't have. See this. Queen ants do have wings. They have to fly high and say, I am proud, I am very much powerful. Then only they are queens. One. Second, during breeding, the females will have more wings and they will fly. So that is how they say they are competent. And female-dominated society in ants, not males. So here if you see the evolution, even today one thing people are unable to understand, how ants can identify sugar in your box or sweet in your box? Anyone? How? I'm asking how. Remember, they have antenna. At the tip of the antenna, there are sensor cells. I think all our remote technology, robotics should work on it. Engineering, all nature thing, if you work, it's a best engineering skill. Those can sense only fructose, glucose and fat, sucrose. So they go on, as he rightly said, one group is called scout. This you should remember. The scouts will actually find out where the sugar is, and then they march back. When they march back, they have to find the way back, right? So they go on leaving a trail of hormone all the way up to the house. Now all others will follow. When they gobbled enough sugar, all will come back. The last ones are soldiers. They have a big business to do. They go on wiping it so that enemy will not find your house. See, such a small, less than pinhead size brain, and they can think so well. And even today, the one line, single, what is it called? One way traffic. It was actually invented by Britishers in Great Britain by looking at the ants. They have discipline. They believe if you follow one after the other, it doesn't get clumps. They can reach the food very safely. And again, when you see honeycomb, here there is little bit of geometry and mathematics. Why polygon? Actually, mathematics professor and we work together, so we found out why. Why polygon? Why not square? Which one? Yes, anyone to supplement? Only he is answering. Remember, nobody taught these honeybees geometry, but they have common sense. What they do is, they have found out square is minimum area, volume, where they can store the honey, whereas if it is polygon, you have many corners where they can still fit. Second, see how exactly they are fitting to each other, the polygon. The middle of the two polygons, they are very sturdy and strong. The same honeycomb, not so easy. Now Japan has invented a foundation for a building with honeycomb technology, which can be earthquake-proof buildings. So we learn many things from them without paying royalty. Okay, now you identify. And bottom is how many legs? See properly. So 8 will be. Okay, this is again a spider. It is called ant mimicking spider. Now you see how they survive. I'll tell you. These spiders actually have 6 pair of spinneret glands on their abdomen, out of which 3 are sticking, 3 are non-sticking. What they do is they use the non-sticking gland and build the spider cobweb. Afterwards, carefully they take the sticking gland and lay the entire sticking particle. Then now the insect which is coming do not know which is sticking, which is non-sticking. They get caught. This fellow goes carefully on the non-sticking, bite the prey, sting the prey. It will not kill. Remember, it will paralyze it, because it will paralyze and pack it up. It is for next day's breakfast or so. It should be fresh. Then they go and eat. Remember, all the cobweb they have done very good. Now what if there is no insect at all coming to the cobweb? What will happen? It can't search so easily, because its cobweb is its territory. What will they do if there is no food for 20 days, 1 month? The entire cobweb is protein. So eat the entire protein. Can we eat our house? They can survive even if you don't provide food. Now, coming to that second one, it is ant mimicking spider. Now it's a question. How can they hunt their prey without building they don't build cobweb. How can they do that? Very, very interesting, because I said ant mimicking. They are like red ants. So what they do, see, very calculative. They climb all along the tree where the ant nest is there, and exactly they'll find the entry point, and they come with one thread down, grab the food and go up, like a lift. I think the so-called dacoitism has come from them. If they are caught, they are dead. If they are not caught, they will survive. Even today, that technique is followed, and ants cannot identify them. They survive, and these also have to struggle, because they struggle and gather food. This will come down, take the food, and go back. And this ant mimicking spider, I bet if it is on your book, you can't just differentiate which is ant and which is spider. Very interesting. They adapted to such an extent, still they can survive. Males croak or female croak? Why? Okay. So usually there is one theory here, you listen carefully. Males usually croak to attract the female. They have a vocal sac during monsoon. In Bangalore, there was one good study which was conducted from 2006 onwards, and we found out that in Bangalore 20% of the frog population has come down. Why? No, yeah, you are right. What has happened is you can hear every sound except male croaking, horn or JCB, etc. And poor male will croak and go away, and no competition at all. So sound pollution, that's very high. And recently, 3 years ago, they found out in Italy and Iran, those areas, there was a big earthquake. Some 20,000-30,000 people died. But one interesting incident had happened. Just 5 days before the earthquake, thousands of frogs had come on the surface of the earth. So a zoologist was concerned. He was called up and asked what is the reason. He said breeding, though it was summer. Then now after everything is over, they understood exactly 5 days before, all the frogs will hibernate. So radon gas is emitted from the core before earthquake. That radon gas, when it touches frog skin, it is semi-permeable membrane. They get irritated and they come out. Now, if at all there is lot of frogs in odd season in Trivandrum, be sure there will be earthquake. So they are the best detectors than your seismograph, which says Richter scale this one after the earthquake is over. Somebody asked me, why then in Japan they could not identify? Have they saved any frogs? Everything is eaten up. Hardly any frogs. Okay, this has come to the earth on 300 million years ago. Just look at this number, 300, because it is continuity with the next one. And snakes also, just they had appeared 275 million years ago. That means you can feel that when there is more number, to balance that, there will be another counter species which is coming. Earlier, all the snakes had 4 limbs. They used to run around with a long tail. Now you can imagine cobras running over, how it will be. So again, they were competing with other reptiles when there is, all the time they were losing food. So they had to survive. When they had to crawl, they lost all the limbs. Even today, to prove this, in python, there are 2 spurs. These spurs have limb skeleton. So that proves that they had once upon a time. You people are free to work on it and say no, that is also possible. When it comes to birds, they had migrated all the way 150 million years ago. They existed on this earth. The first bird appeared like this. See carefully, the wing tip and the beak. Yeah. No, what has happened is this came along with dinosaur at that time. Now see carefully, there are something at the wings and inside the beak. Teeth and at the tip of the wings or at the margin, there are 2 finger projection. Why? Okay, to kill the prey and eat. Now remember, I had told you why dinosaur was extinct. Because scarcity of food, suddenly there was change in plant composition. Then birds also evolved. They were the successful ones. They lost those organ, and since they had to eat fruits more, they modified their beak and lost those capturing organ. And even today, if you see the chicken or something, at the wing margin, there are a projection, two projection you can see. That is a remnant. Even today, if you see that. So they work on 4 principles, you know very well. One is lift, weight, thrust and drag. Otherwise, they can't fly. And there is one theory which says, this is, can you identify? Arctic tern. In its entire migratory route, it traveled 20,000 miles. So one way 10 and one way 10. And remember, all these birds, all the aerodynamics we have learned from them, before they fly, they eat very well. Now you will tell me, what, they don't have common sense, they'll become hefty. How can they fly? All along the migratory path, or 2 months or so, they won't eat anything, they don't drink water. Remember, they starve. So, they shrink all the digestive tract, which is useless, and make the body light, so they can fly. Wish we could have made. That would have been excellent. So when they land in the migrated country, they again drink water and they come back to normal. This is the procedure followed from since age-old days. Even today, people are unable to identify how birds can identify in the whole world, coming from America to India without passport and visa, exact place they land. Whether there is a GPS in their brain, we don't know. Now they have found out in their forebrain there is one part called cluster N cells. These get activated during migration and they are the one which becomes biological compass. So they actually identify, they can identify, there are signatures. When they go on the top, they can identify the streams, the river, the islands, etc. and they can follow the path. Remember, once they take off, they will get the thermal current. Once they get thermal current, it's easy for them to fly like your kite. So they need not invest much energy. For this, you should watch David Attenborough's Life on Birds, then you will identify. So some of the modification, quickly I'll tell you. Tailor bird, of course, you know, everybody knows, right? The only bird which can stitch the nest using cotton without needle. It takes its beak as needle and stitch beautifully. Now, the evolution has gone to that extent. Many of the tailor birds have adapted. They have become lazy or adapted. Gujarat, I got a news from one of my friends. He says the tailor bird has stopped using leaves for stitching. They are dependent on those age-old socks which you keep on the wire and they stitch them and happily lay eggs. No need of collecting all the nesting material. If man troubles them, they know how to survive better. This you know, weaver bird. The best example for any genetically inherited character. Can you identify how many nests are there in the first slide? No. 7, yes. Only one is complete. So in this, one interesting thing is, this is again female dominant. The male will struggle hard, visit 500 times and build a nest. Before that, when he build half, he invite his partner. She has to certify this is good. Then he complete the nest. If she reject, again he has to build from the beginning. So this is 7th attempt pass, 6th attempt fail. After building so much, see the design. It is like a retort flask and you can see the mouth of the nest facing down. It will be usually on the water body or so. No predator can enter so easily. And there are again poor, rich class, etc. They have 2-layer, 3-layer nest. Interesting thing is, this bird takes so much of difficulty. The male will build nest. You know where he will sit? He's not allowed to come in. He has to sit out. Only female will sit inside. And she demands food. She demands security. Finally, when the young one come out, she will throw all the defecated matter out. He has to go and throw it and come. So fully female dominant society, right? So this is one height of adaptation I had to show. These are all the live example what we see even today. See the first slide, you can see black cover. It's a cover, plastic cover. So anybody would have thought, definitely there will be something rubbish thrown, some food material, etc. But we were very curious during our exploration. We went and saw, I could see one egg. Then I realized it was of a bird called bulbul, its egg, and asked my students to monitor. Remember, to hatch they take 24 days, and this bird took only 12 days. You know why? Physics, it knows physics. Black color absorbs more heat, and it free of cost, it has saved its energy, and whether it rains or doesn't rain, the plastic cover will take care. Worst thing, no predator can come closer, because even human being cannot come closer. They'll think it is something dirty rubbish. So they are saved. See how they adapt according to the needs. That's something challenge. This is height of adaptation. In the whole world, Japanese are the most brilliant, but Japanese say our crows are most brilliant. I'll tell you how. They eat walnut, akhroot they say. Very hard to crack, not so easy. Earlier, till 2006, it was okay. They were struggling hard, but I don't know how they got adapted. They carry that walnut all the way, come to signal light. When it is red, come down, place it on zebra crossing, again go and fly up and sit. When it is green, when the vehicle moves, they get cracked. Again, they come down and happily eat and grow. So I was telling, earlier people were giving example, crow came, dropped stones and the water level came up. This is all 1960s. The present crows are much smarter. They use technology. Zebra crossing and signal light invented by foolish man, but utilized by crow. So they were saying, I think we should look at the crows and get more knowledge. Japanese were telling. I don't know, Indian crows might be still smarter. Again, when it comes to bat, how many sense organs do we have? Sixth one. Do we have a sixth sense? Most of us doesn't have, which is most important, that is common sense. So there is one theory which is worked on. All animals except human beings, they have 10 sense organs. 5 usual what we have. 6th is they sense chemical field, magnetic, electric, vibration and echolocation. So bats are the best. They can actually resonate the sound. When it reflects back, they can get where the food is and how to go, what are the predator, etc. Now quickly I'll go to, nice? First and last are same, right? I think except the computer, everything looks similar. Now see the third one, the third in the row. Any change in that? No, third one. See properly. First, second, third. Yeah, it has the implement. Remember this, then I'll ask you something. Now all of you said evolution of man by monkey. If that was the case, we would have seen all monkeys evolving now and population would have shot up more. In one interaction program, one of the students asked me, sir, why don't we have tails like they have? Because we have evolved from monkey. So I just mischievously said, our traffic jam is so much, we can't go safely. With tail, it would have jammed more, You can't carry the tail also. See, remember, it is not from monkey. Please, this is the one which transformed to the modern man. So first was that. Second is Homo habilis. Looks better, clean shaved, right? And third one, Homo rudolfensis. This is our transition. You can see how it is evolving. Fourth one, Australopithecus africanus. The first species which learned to smile. The stage. From here we learn to smile. So you should say Australopithecus africanus. Then comes Homo heidelbergensis. Then Homo erectus. This is the time where we stood straight. Homo erectus. Then comes Homo floresiensis. I think you would have read in the Discovery everywhere. Our ancestor is in Africa. It's an old lady. Well, whatever. Our genetic resource come from one single mother from Africa. That is nothing but Homo floresiensis. Looks better, right? It looks more resemblance. Now don't ask me what is the next one. Next one you should see the mirror. We have evolved sufficient. Now tell me, from man did we evolve? The species from which we evolved has already changed and we can't again create that species. These are all transition. 1 to 2, 2 to 3. They are already over. Now you don't get them. So meanwhile, I asked you to see the third stage. It had implement. Audible? Okay. So a very interesting thing was, remember the third stage? We have one vestigial organ in our body called appendix. What is its job? Anyone? It has job. Otherwise, nature, it would have thrown it long back. Anyone? Array, in CET, if you get that question, what will you do? It has most important task to do. No, everything is digested. But that is, you read from it. That is different. It helps further minutest digestion, last level, when it comes to the large intestine, by extracting the remaining residues. This particular appendix was actually very big. This acted as a digester of fibers. That means we were all vegetarians when we were born. That means all those. Which is that first one? Homo Georgicus. Up to the third stage. When we found the implement, we started killing other animal and started eating. This became vestigial. No job, so it shrunk. Even today, there is one more vestigial organ in your body. See, most of the animals can move the ears, right? Only we are hopeless because anyway, our hands are firm and anything comes on your face, you can drive them away. And this is again vestigial because we developed sufficiently. Even today, you might say, my friend does that. You might say, still some of the character vestigial is active in him. And there is one more vestigial part, that is tail, coccyx bone. This is very active up to 4th week of embryo in everyone. So all of us had a tail. So again, evolution, what is the reason for the tail in an animal? When a monkey goes on a wire, start observing, it wags the tail left and right. It is for balancing the entire body. So balancing point is its tail. When we are balanced, we don't require the tail. This is one human genome project. I think you are aware of human genome project. Earlier they thought something like 200,000 genes would have been active in our body, but now they found out only 25,000 genes are there in our body. Each of them are mapped very well, and each of them has their own work. The responsible gene for cancer, remember we have all genes, whether cancer, diabetic, it will be suppressed. It becomes activated only when it is inherited from the parent or whatever. And there are all genes which are responsible. The only sad part is, after so much of research, we know which is the troublesome gene, but we are unable to manipulate. It's very scary. What if you remove that gene responsible for cancer? What if it aggravates something else? We do not know the supplement and addition. So even today, somebody can work on genetics. Even today, it's very interesting. Gene tailoring, what they call, not so easy with this. Any further evolution possible?
You're going to grow weaker and smarter. You're using less of our organs, less of our muscles. You're going to become weaker and smarter.
Of late, they have found out the gray matter in our brain is decreasing. Gray matter, you know gray matter? Everybody should have gray matter, otherwise we are dumb and useless. So that is little bit decreasing because we are more adaptive and more dependent on technology, and most of the sense organs are not so strong as it should be because we are dependent on technology. Do not know. Now the percentage of deaf are more and so many other things. We do not know what will be the human evolution later, but if you see all the species, when did we come on Earth? Any idea? Just 20,000 years ago. And I was always telling that if there is an extinction, human being will be the first to be extinct so fast, not even 20,000 years, whereas the mosquito, which has come 100 million years ago, even today it is surviving. So everything in evolution goes around survival strategy, and everything adapts for the edaphic factor. So that's why I was telling, any slightest change in climatic change, other species will adapt. But human being, it is very difficult to adapt. This adaptation, if you see carefully, we can modify many things to the reality. I was telling, engineers can use all these and modify so many things which we use in daily life. Not only aerodynamics, there are so many more. I was always telling, entire nature is a laboratory. Hardly anybody teach biology outside the classroom. Everybody teach inside. That's the sad part. So if you see carefully, everything is intricated and very carefully woven. I was telling, all the biodiversity species are like nuts and bolts of an aeroplane. Even if one nut goes, what will happen? When it is flying, one nut is gone. Entire plane will crash. Same way, this entire biodiversity is like interdependent. If anything goes wrong, entire plane can crash, entire civilization will go. Each slide, if you carefully see, there was something like the adaptation technique. So how can they adapt? What is the instinct in them? What is the genetic composition in them? That we are unable to identify. One of you can come forward and work on it. Thank you. Understand what is the importance of basic science. Remember, DST has started this program with an intention of giving you support in BSc degree, if at all you take degree, if at all you are interested in masters and research. They are providing scholarship for each year, 80,000, 50,000, 40, 3 years. So that scholarship is based on your research activity, what you carry. Finally, they want to somehow make you understand the dearth of the difficulty in getting scientists. So that's why I thank Amrita Institute and all of you for providing me this opportunity. I was very happy. All of you are inspired, not much to inspire you, and I get inspired by you. Thank you very much.
So we had promised before lunch that we would bring back Dr. Harish Bhat, and he's able to stay, and so I'd hand the mic over to him, sir, for your feedback session. So if anybody have a question? Oh, did you want to show something?
Meanwhile, I have two explanations which he ended up with chameleon. So I remembered one incident where chameleon, the way they catch the insect, that is measured 1/10 of a second. That's the speed of their tongue. So now they want to develop a missile that can go in that speed. I do not know. Germans are working on it. Second, when did nanoparticles came into existence? Anyone? Wise answer. But tell me when. Okay. There is one particular butterfly called blue morpho in America. So that particular butterfly, they have found out that during mid-noon, somebody who can experiment, that butterfly, when it opens its wing, the butterfly become invisible. Then they found out that all those gyroid scales in that butterfly is nothing but nanoparticle. So now our institute, of course I can tell you here, it's not a top secret, working with the aerospace department to invent a spy satellite using that technology, so that Pakistanis can see that there is one spy satellite but don't know whether China or India. So sometimes we learn a lot of things. Huh? Clapping doesn't work. You have to come and work at our institute, some of you. Any questions quickly? Yeah.
This one. So the previous session you said that Arctic terns reduce the size of their intestines.
Not only Arctic, all migratory birds.
Okay, then if they're eating food.
Not only intestine, entire GIT.
So then where does they are eating food. And if they reduce in size, where does the extra mass go? They use it up. They have to reduce their mass first and then flight. It's not
Correct.
like they are reducing mass in flight. They reduce the
They
mass.
don't reduce in flight. Once they eat and develop in mass, eating is complete. Now they have to fly. That time they reduce the mass and then fly.
Yes, sir. But where is that extra mass going?
No, they just shrink that entire intestine, stomach, gizzard, everything. Nothing will be there.
Then how will the weight reduce?
Sorry?
The mass is still the same. Then how will the weight
See,
reduce?
that is all, including their kidney. Everything they shrink by some percentage. Once they land on their whatever migratory land, then again It's considerably less, not too less.
No, sir, they are eating something. They have gained some mass.
That mass, what they've eaten, that will be not fully counter-effected by the shrinking, but to some extent they reduce. Oh, not entirely shift, huh? Only they shrink because it is useless. Only we don't shrink, we eat a lot. Okay. Any other question?
Any others?
I wanted to show you something interesting for you.
No questions? Oh, wait, you have one in the back there.
Hello, Home Namaste, sir. Sir, my doubt is that how crocodiles have evolved through this 1 years. I have read in many books that crocodiles have been found in prehistoric times, from the time itself where dinosaurs have begun. Sir, can you please explain?
There was one particular dinosaur which was, amphibian. Why do we call amphibian? Land and water. One particular dinosaur was having the character of amphibian. So that was able to survive in water and land. Same thing with crocodile. Though we don't call amphibian, still that had amphibious nature. So that particular dinosaur slowly metamorphed or whatever, slowly evolution-wise, led into chelonian groups. Chelonians are a crocodile, one of the species. So all these chelonians together evolved from that particular dinosaur. Okay, if no question, just quickly, 10 minutes, I'll take your time. How many of you want to do research? Oh, but you have to write CET, right? You want to go to engineering, you want to go to medicine, what to do? Anyway, I'll just give you the highlights. There is one particular program with, again, Department of Science and Technology, Intel, you know very well, the famous company, and Confederation of Indian Industry, the only industry which help you patent in India. All three get together has a program called IISc, which is Initiative for Research and Innovation in Science. Basic idea is to identify the potential in you to do research, and it's a mega competition at national level. Whoever are national finalists will go to America to compete with 68 other countries, 2,800 students. I'll just give you highlights. See, 5th standard to 12th standard can participate. That's why I thought I'll address you. Some of you might think over. 12th one who has actually done, I can show his experiment also. 5th to 8th is junior category, 9th to 12th is senior. And basically this involves, as Professor Nampuri had directly said, 3 things are involved here. One is you should identify a problem and finding a simple solution which is workable and duplicable, means again if you work it should work, and useful to society. These are the 3 things. In that, I'll quickly go to that. This you have seen, this plant? One of the worst weed that ever India got from Brazil. It came with Britishers as ornamental plant. While they go, they threw this to our lake and gone. Remember, this is the only plant which absorbs all heavy metals. And that doesn't mean that we have to take care of this plant. It's a weed which can choke all your wetland. And one of this, she's actually basically a Keralite, this student. She was 11th standard. What she did is, see, this was less known. She took this problem, how exactly to control this water hyacinth, Eichhornia crucipis. There are many efforts. 200 crore governments have spent every year to eradicate. What we do, simply drag it and throw. But root cause is something else. You should stop it from growing. What she did is, there is one particular spore, Fusarium fungus, Fusarium pallidorosum. She found out that whenever these spores sit on any flower, it has the quality to shrink it. Then she thought, why not I experiment on this water hyacinth and actually try whether it can take care of. Believe it or not, in her, there is in situ and ex situ, 2 experiments you do. One is in the lab, one outside. Within 3 weeks' time, when that fungus spores were sprayed on the plant, within 3 weeks, entire lake, that was choked, was cleared. All the Eichhornia just shrunk, no seeding, so they directly died. And now she has patented that particular spores. Of course, Fusarium was known, but its application on Eichhornia was not known. So this was one of the research from Kerala only, I think Trivandrum if I am not wrong. But she is in Nagpur. This you have seen? Beautiful flower, but it has many other properties. Remember, this is the only flower which has the property to enhance red blood corpuscles in you. One. Second is 100% I am sure you would have eaten this flower. It is very tasty also. So what this student had done is, how many of you eat gobi Manchurian? Okay. Now, later on these many hands will not come, I know that. So they have found out, World Health Organization, that gobi Manchurian produced in India has 75% rejected chemical dye which is highly carcinogenic. So tomorrow think over whether you, don't worry, 10 years you will not get. Okay, so this student addressed that. See, once you have the problem, okay, what is the alternative? You can't eat a gobi Manchurian without color. So she found out, anyway Ayurveda text mentioned that this is a medicine, and she also tried to extract the red dye, and when she tried its viscosity, etc., it was 100% efficient enough to support any edible dye. This she tried. American Agriculture Society awarded her $1,000. Of course, later on she patented it also, because this was a serious problem at the developing countries. Developed countries have said this is banned, but we will use happily. Again, yeah, I should speak to you because sometimes you get a lot of mosquitoes here also. These two students again from Mumbai, they have found out these mosquitoes doesn't thrive well at certain localities. One of them was under papaya tree. Then they asked why. Always the question why comes. They found out that papaya plant has one particular chemical compound which repels the mosquito. That they extracted and they made candle. When they burned the candle, immediately all the mosquitoes were repelled outside the room, inside the room, whatever. And they had, see, every experiment will have three things. One is standard, one is control, one is experiment. You all know that. So standard was mosquito coil. 100% mosquitoes will not go, but you will choke. That is sure. Whereas this candle, what they used, 95% it cured and it repelled the mosquitoes. Only problem was it was giving very bad smell. Of course, plant material. Then she added, she was very wise enough, 8th standard student, 9th. She was able to add jasmine fragrance to it. So free of cost room freshener, room light and mosquito repellent, all three. Again, it addressed a serious problem. Now directly I will show you something interesting. You know this injection where you inject, you have a proper tube, it will have a plunger. Of course, when you get injected, you will know that. Remember, 60% of the disposable syringe is reused in India. Yes, when you throw it, again it will be collected by somebody and again it will go back to industry and we are happy to use it. What if it is with hepatitis B or HIV positive? Just think over. So what these students did is, okay, this is a major problem. So what is the solution? They say, once you pull the plunger and push it, still you can use it. There is no harm. There is no change. They just designed the head of the plunger. They just fit one V-shape object. The moment you pull the plunger, they constrict, and once you push, those both head will break. And once it breaks, you use 1,000 times, you can't use the syringe again. So the modification, the prototype costed 600 rupees or so. They say if you produce, it is just 40 paisa more. 40 paisa more syringe can save your life from a lot of problem. Similarly, this is something interesting. With the data also you can play around. Who said that your experiment require a laboratory? Without laboratory you can do. This boy is from north of Karnataka, the only place where you have 3 seasons, hot, hotter, hottest. No other season. So what he says is, you actually dry your clothes by squeezing. He says the time taken for the cloth to dry, whether you squeeze or don't squeeze, is same. Second, the strength of the cloth will reduce by 60%. And he has tested on different clothes, all almost same. and thread, the strength of the thread, etc. Everything he has tested. Only thing is, what I said is simple. It has beautiful data, and we judges, I am one of the judges for this. We again experimented it and seen. We can't just accept it. It works. And he has a beautiful set of data which proves. Only thing I commented him is, if textile industry come to know, they'll throw you out. Because many people will be happy not to buy clothes. This is something very interesting last year. These two boys from Chennai, what they did is, most of the time cardiac arrest will be not known. Sometimes it is silent killer also. I think you all know there is lub-dub sound which actually pumps the blood. Exactly 30 minutes before, there is a variation in the heartbeat. That indicates after 30 minutes, 100% there will be cardiac arrest. That is all available data. What these boys have found out is, most of the time people don't get immediate attention and there will be a loss of life and all this traffic jam. Half the time the ambulance, people will speed the ambulance and go. So they can't reach on time. See, this is one jacket what they have actually designed. This one lot of accolades in the National Fair. It has the following. It has a small palpable instrument. They actually keep that palpable instrument to measure ECG, etc. So what happens is, if that patient wear the jacket, and when he or she is about to get cardiac arrest, you know very well, some will be heart patient, there is a circuit which has stored numbers of the nearest doctors, and there is a GPS location also fitted. Within no time, it sends the phone call to all the doctors and say, at this location, this patient is there, attend in 30 minutes. One. Second thing is, after everything, once you are free from all those cardiac problems, you have to do ECG every month. So that small device in it is fitted, which has memory, that can store the reading of the entire 30 days. You just remove that chip and give it to doctor. He put on the computer and then get the graph for all 30 days. No ECG is required. You are saving a lot of money. This was from Chennai. This boy did something interesting. I think morning when the video was shown, people getting sunk during whatever tsunami, etc. You know very well, most of the time the life jacket is not usable. So only when ship sinks we will realize we have to use it, right? Otherwise it will be folded and kept neatly inside. They don't do drill sometimes. You have to do drill. So most of the time there will be holes, and by the time you throw the person along with the jacket, he'll sink faster. So what this boy has designed is, see, you can't locate, if you want to rescue team can't locate in the ocean where that person is. This particular jacket has circuits, again almost similar to the previous one. What it has is obviously it's a ship, so all the coastal guards' number are stored inside. And again it has a GPS location. The moment the life jacket touched the water, not superficially, completely, immediately it sent the message to all coastal guards, and at this GPS location, the person is sinking, come and rescue. What if it is at night? There is a laser beam which is pointing out, that red color. Once you trigger it, it will point to the sky and one can see where that the person is sinking. They can immediately recover. This is from Kolkata. He has seen, a lot of times in Kolkata, a boat gets sunk, Brahmaputra, all those areas. So they have a lot of problem. This particular example I thought I'll give you. And one challenging could be, if you, only you are the one who can actually participate in this competition, who can go to the international. National award, forget it. It is just laptops for all of you and national winners and so many other things. But international, if you top, it is $5 million. Huge. And first, second, third, grand award. First is 75,000, second is 50, whatever. The first, second, third grand award, if you get, your name will be named after a minor planet by American Lincoln Society. And most important is, there are many Nobel laureates who come to interview. If you are qualifying enough, I'll just show you one person, this fellow. He's from Chennai again. He's very interesting project. Of course, I am not able to explain it right now due to shortage of time. He says all these oxidation process is a big hub of energy tank which you can harvest the energy. It doesn't oxidize completely. Same thing you can use. And if this experiment proves, for 30 years India will not have shortage of power. Free of cost you will get. And this particular student was interviewed by chemistry Nobel laureate, and he said, "You're wasting your time by still studying. Come to me and work." So that kind of opportunity who will get? You have to write GATE and GRE, so many other things, right? He is working in Germany now. Still he is 11th standard, now he is 12th. This year, just 2 days ago, in that international fair in Pittsburgh, he won third grand award. That is, he can attend Nobel laureate ceremony free of cost, interacting with all Nobel Prize winners. And second is Young Innovators Academy in Germany. They actually invite the young innovators from the world, only 13 people. So he'll be one of them. And he won something like $9,000 award. I'm not worried about dollars, but the opportunity what students get, that's amazing, where you have to struggle a lot. One of the student in 2008, he did on computer science, Florida Institute of Technology directly offered him seat, and they took him with full funded scholarship. I think that is something interesting. Here we require the following. Let me just sum up. One is you have to identify the problem, for which I will just show you what all subjects are here. Everything, whatever, you can work on any of the subject. Sky is the limit. Every subject is covered here, including behavioral science and food and nutrition, microbiology, etc. You have to identify the problem and find a simple solution workable. Third is it should be useful to the society, and a synopsis should be written and submitted before August 31st, 2012. I can give you one website. You can go quickly to that, irissciencefair.org. IRISSCIENCEFAIR.org. So if you go there, you will get lot of information, and you can download the application also. No entry fee. Not only that, your entire travel, stay, everything is taken care of, even if it is America. So it will be a free of cost you will travel, and you will compete with remaining countries also. One thing I want to say before I end up, their Germans used to bring a huge rocket, some modification they do, and they used to exhibit next to Indian students. Our Indian students, you know, some medicinal plant or that red dye, etc., small. So it is very small to display. So they were scared. They asked me when I had gone to US. They said, "Sir, it is so, we feel so shy to exhibit next to that huge rocket." But I said, "You take your whatever innovation as bigger than that rocket." And then final day, when the awards were declared, these won 3 awards, German 0. Germany guy said one thing, "You Indians are quite smart. You bring your project in pocket and carry award in bag." No, why I am telling you this is, Indians are valued each and every country. Some are jealous, of course, but still, the Indian brains are valued. What you should not do, that's what I want to highlight in this, if you have to submit, if you want to do research. One is plagiarism. Directly from some paper, scientific paper, just rattle and cut and paste or reshuffle and send. Or somebody, your brother also, no. Even you have worked on it, you should have the hold on it. And we don't allow you to work on human subject. Like I want to try the cancer drug on my grandmother. They should write, they should write in declaration form saying that my grandson can work on me, anything happens, I am responsible. No grandmother will sign, don't worry. No human subject, and no recombination DNA, etc. Genetics, not so easy to work. 3-4 years you have to spend your 365 to 3. It's difficult. And no pathogenic agent, disease causing agent, not allowed. You don't say that I want to work on that H5N1 or chikungunya, something, you know, which is not welcoming. Then we also object you working on explosives. You can't say that bomb is worse, mine will be better than that. Last year we got one funny project. I'll tell you how students' mind will work thanks to media. He had invented a new gun, electronic gun. You know what for? This is junior project. I was little scared of how juniors will think. It is the best way to pluck mangoes. A simple stone is enough. Why should you use a gun? It has a thread which has a spike. It can go and puncture the mango and bring down. So the more lazy we are, the best technology we use probably. And also inflammables. We don't allow you to work on some inflammable objects and acid, etc. We take care of students' well-being. And toxic substance. 2006 we got one project from junior category. The junior category, they think more and act funny both. So he had invented one novel, what is that, bandicoot and rat. To eradicate them, he has found out a new biscuit. He has written Parle-G on it. He said, look exactly, asked, why did you write? He said, it looks nice. You know what it is made of? Mercury. Forget rat, anybody can die on it. So those kind of things we avoid, and somebody want to immediately, now you have lot of experiments being conducted, they want to use fusion-fission reaction. I see, those all things we actually discourage. And the simplest one I can explain is behavioral science. Student want to see in their entire classroom, this junior category, seniors work much efficiently, but juniors are good in it. So he want to see how many of them can concentrate on any subject without underlining, and underlining using more than one color, how many get distracted, etc. He had some 180 trials run, etc. Finally found out 90% of them can't remember when no underline in the paragraph, and 100% people can remember if you use only one color, and 100% get confused if you use more than one color. You try to think blue, green, red, you know. So that's why, you know what it is made of? Mercury. Forget rat, anybody can die on it. So those kind of things we avoid, and somebody want to immediately, now you have lot of experiments being conducted, they want to use fusion-fission reaction. I see, those all things we actually discourage. And the simplest one I can explain is behavioral science. Student want to see in their entire classroom, this junior category, seniors work much efficiently, but juniors are good in it. So he want to see how many of them can concentrate on any subject without underlining, and underlining using more than one color, how many get distracted, etc. He had some 180 trials run, etc. Finally found out 90% of them can't remember when no underline in the paragraph, and 100% people can remember if you use only one color, and 100% get confused if you use more than one color. You try to think blue, green, red, you know. So that's why they used to say underline the important points. So in the synopsis, these are the following which should be there. One is the title of the project. Second is the objective what you have. Third is the procedure in it what works, the methodology. One correction for you, don't ever say methodology. It is method. Methodology is the study of method. So it should be method. And what materials use. Finally, what is the result? Like, we don't want you to work fully. At least 20% of the work should be done with some data. You submit it to 31st August 2012 is the last day. By September 2nd week, you will get to know the result online. And November 22nd to 25th will be the national fair. This year it is in Bangalore. Every time it will be in different city. And international will be May 8th to 18th, those 10 days. It will be always in one or the other country. Next year it is in Los Angeles. So every time it will be in one state in America. So let's see how you work on it, and wish you all the best. Any questions on this? One question to you. How does chameleon change its color? A lot, whether physics, chemistry, anything. So though for photosensitive pigment will actually absorb sunlight, they don't change the color at night, that you remember. They need not, because the enemies are far away. They don't. So only according to the background they change their color. Only 3 colors, gray, brown and green. Don't say 7 colors. So these 3 they combine with the pigments, and they change and escape from the enemy. So I got inspired. That's why I used this session. Otherwise, I would have just taken question hour session. You are all inspired. So hopefully this DST's objective will fulfill. And what I apparently presented is again DST involvement. Why I use this opportunity is I see many brilliant, bright students. Unfortunately, sorry to say, in that national fair so far, none of the, only one or two from Kerala state. So people should not think. In fact, NRIs are in America, they from Kerala, they keep asking, nobody from our state. So that sorry figure we should not cut, no, we reflect India. So I thought some of you can come. Thank you very much and wish you all the best.